Welcome back to all of you. Welcome back to our streaming audience in their home offices and homes. So good to have actual in-person networking time, wasn't it? That was great. It's a new thing, so to speak. I want to take just a moment to mention State Representative Rob Consalvo, who is here, great friend and supporter of MassBIO and the life sciences. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it today. We turn now to our possible talk for today. Possible talks are shorter, TED-style talks. We call them possible talks because we talk about what is possible. Valarie Molyneaux is the founder and CEO of VITFriends. It's a vitiligo support community. She founded it after she was diagnosed. And let me tell you what a journey it has been for her. She's here to tell her story. Valarie?
Well, good morning, everyone. What an honor, what a privilege it is to be asked to do this. My heart is still overflowing. And so I begin by telling you that, as you've heard, my name is Valarie Molyneaux, and I have vitiligo. It was in 2002, sitting in a kindergarten classroom, that I saw a spot on my left thumb. Slide number 1 shows you a picture of me then, and 2022 is a picture of myself. I'm a wife, a mother, a teacher, a community activist, church board member, and so on, many, many hats. But vitiligo was something I knew nothing of. From a large family of 9 siblings, I checked my origin from Ireland to the Caribbean. Nothing, no trace of vitiligo. Here's some facts, slide 2, about what vitiligo is. It affects all race, gender, age, ethnicity, equally. And it appears as white patches all over your body. And as you can see, the percentage, people think it's just a small segment of the world. Not at all. And the most important thing that we have been striving for is for folks to realize, to pay attention, that the mental and emotional strain of vitiligo has caused such things as the ultimate suicide. Slide 2, when I learned from my dermatologist the dreaded words, no cure, nothing I could do. Yes, I too fell into depression. I drove the car to Jamaica Pond, and you can fill in the line, what you thought. And so in 2009, I prayed, and I became creative, and I asked God for directives and for God give me a clear plan. And in 2009, I typed on Facebook, if you have this condition, would you meet me at the Dorchester Bowling Alley? And they came from New York City, they came from Connecticut, still get emotional, and they came from Boston. And that day, it was July, we started our first meeting, and 2009 to today, we're still on the road to helping others. Our mission is to raise public awareness. There's a lot of myth that we want to get rid of. It affects all people, so we want to offer education about what vitiligo is. We want to enhance the quality of life for people with vitiligo with our conferences that started back then and still continues, and with our networking and sharing of information. One of the greatest things we have right now is our podcast. I just played around with it in 2010, and today, our podcast is 11 years old with a global reach. and we're so grateful. Let me give you a little history from our slides. The next slide, a little caption. 2009, after our meeting, a few of us gathered out front for dinner, after dinner, for our first ever vitiligo group photo shoot. 2009, 10, 11, with the presence of our very own today, he's a representative, Rob Consalvo, we hosted our first walk on Castle Island, and then we gathered for our photo shoot. Next slide. Representative Consalvo honored us by inviting us. He was then city councilor. He invited us in 2010. We've gone a little too far. 2010 to the city council, and also issued us our first ever proclamation. What you're seeing before you is 2009, 9, 10, and 11. We were honored to have some of the top leading dermatologists attend this small conference. In the middle is Dr. Vanita, Leahy Clinic. She showed up in 2009, ladies and gentlemen. 2010, world-renowned John Harris from UMass Medical on my right, on your left, and our brother from Henry Ford Hospital showed up in 2013. That shows you that there is some support for this work that we're doing. And again, then city councilman came back and gave us 2013, another proclamation. 2014, one of the group members said, let's take it a little further. So in 2014, we headed out for our conference at our first different location. In 2014, we went down to New York City and held our conference there, and even gathered to walk on the streets of Harlem and show our colors. When Laurie talked about showing our colors, I put on my purple socks, I got my nails purple, and I wore my purple flower. And that's what we did in Harlem. We walked around and we showed our colors. 2015, this small group, not with too many people except a few doctors looking at us. Now there's MassBIO, there's other people that we want to connect with. But 2015, with the help of Representative Gloria Fox and her then legislative aide, who's now our consultant, Meredith, she said, why don't you guys bring this thing to the State House steps? And here we are on the State House steps for the first time ever, telling folks about vitiligo. It's a journey, but we wanted folks to see our true colors. The next slide. What do we really want as a vitiligo community? There's a couple of things, and as you can see from the slide, from 2009 to today, I've seen that 15 groups have been started in other states. And my team today is sitting with me. They helped me fund this. And so what we're looking for one day to see is a national Vitiligo Act. Representative Perrin from Maryland tried it in 1975 and again in 1977. Those bill numbers are listed there. Nothing has happened to that bill. It's our goal to one day see that changed. We want funding to see that the work that we're doing is continued, especially when we have 186 children that report to us from all across the United States, Netherlands, Australia, and London. They report and they're members of this group. And so we want to one day see things happen so that we can support them. The past 2 years, we have supported come to our local conference, and so we want to continue that work. There's one issue that we found in the medical journal that we're not happy with at all. It lists that vitiligo is a mere cosmetic issue. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not that for me. I drove my car to the Jamaica Pond with 2 sons at my house today. They're teachers in the Boston public school system. I drove my car, not for fun and games. It is serious, and we want to see that language changed. Next slide. The greatest thing that I consider myself to have done, not only starting all of these groups, but again, putting out that clarion call. If you have vitiligo, would you join us on the Capitol steps? I still get emotional. Letters were coming from Nigeria. Would you get me a passport? Letters were coming from everywhere. Can we come? When one of our Russian brother panoramed around, he said, my goodness, Valarie, there's over 300 people in my camera. Ladies and gentlemen, I still get emotional. And for us that day, we considered it our time, a time to begin the sounding alarm that something needs to happen for our community. Something needs to happen, and we took it 2016 to the Capitol steps. Next slide. While we're at the Capitol, we thought about, we don't want it to end here. Can't end here. This was an amazing family reunion. It was an amazing time to come together, to learn, to do, and to meet new people. And so we voted on taking our conference 2017 to Henry Ford Hospital and to their grounds. And what an amazing conference. And you could see partial photo of some of our members. At that very same time, one of the women from Lowell, Massachusetts, with a daughter, beautiful little girl, just diagnosed at age 6. And again, here's the little color line. The African American can get it, and here's a Caucasian sister with that story. But she could not go with us to Detroit. She stayed, she watched all of the videos, and she was birthed with this idea. I can do a group. Valarie, would you support me? And in 2017 was the kickoff of our children's group known as Pen Pal Patch. And did I tell you 186 children from not just the US, but other countries as well. A little bit closer from Detroit, we voted, and we wanted to come to Massachusetts, and we did it. It was a lot of work. I lost eyelashes, I lost hair, but it was a lot of work. We got it done. Myself, my co-leader, Barbara Hamilton, and with co-hosting with Dr. world-renowned, by the way, John Harris, there at UMass, we pulled off an amazing conference. When he invited us to come out, we went out for several visits and planning and all of that. But the last visit, he said, you must come. When we pulled up at the conference, the UMass grounds, and to see our sign out front, and then to see it inside 2018, can we go to that slide, the next slide? To see us, poster on the screen inside the UMass building was amazing. For 2018, to see that on the screen. Photos, I apologize, are not clear, but to walk in and see that picture, the tears just flowed as Dr. John, myself, and Barbara saw our poster there on the wall. That Saturday, following day, on the night of our ball, because we have a ball every Saturday at our conferences across the nation, they presented me from Senator McGovern a flag flown over the Capitol for my work. That was one of the best days of my life. After doing all of that and sweating, I was rewarded with a flag flown over the Capitol. Also, Dr. John received one of those very same flags. The next slide, we voted in 2019 to take our concerns to Houston, Texas. Next slide, please. And here we are on the City Hall steps of Sugar Land, Texas. And let me just tell you, that's a partial crowd because all of the young folks partied the night before, so they were still in bed. So they missed this shot. But what a beautiful, beautiful group of people. And on the front row, my heart bubbled with joy. There I am on the left in my white pants, but my heart bubbled to see some of those babies. And they came in from Australia. They came in from places to be with us. The men and the young boys had a chance to get together. And I thought it was so rare because men don't, oops, sorry, there's men here. Men don't come out a lot. But to see the men together, my heart bubbled with joy. So I had to take that shot for to let you know that men are included. It's not just us women. The next slide is 2019. And when I heard of a little girl, second grader, in North Carolina, refusing to go to school. Any guesses why? They're called bullies. She can't play in the playground. She can't do this, do that. And so I thought about it. Because now within our community, we have quite a few authors and stories. Sent to this school via one of our leaders there, a book about vitiligo for them to read in the classroom, and then one wrapped all nicely with a bow to present to her when the reading was done. Could you put yourself in that place? They're reading a book, and you're in the picture. Oh my goodness, that's the feeling we wanted for her to have. And when she was done, my leader presented her with a book. Could you imagine? Just take that feeling of a second grader. Her life, we have gotten the reports from her mom, her life has not been the same. And so in 2019, we birthed the idea, let's get books across the country into schools. And so we started out to date. Books are in 60 schools across the US from our very small organization. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank them every day. My team for supporting this cause. You can help too. Next slide. Oh, what you've seen on the next slide for this book drive was all of my leaders have asked that they go into schools in their area and read at schools. So on the screen there you saw Virginia's leader and Florida leader was reading to the kids at that school. 2021, in the midst of a pandemic, we still had our young people and our kids on our minds. And so 2021, we started a teens group. They're thriving. A young woman who was hoping to be a model. Can you see her? She tattooed on the inside. She said she was getting too many questions. One of the ladies talked about recording yourself and playing it back. She didn't want to do that. She tattooed, young model. She tattooed on the inside. It's called vitiligo. And for 2021, she kicked off our women's group, seeing women from Peru and from other countries across the globe. We're so grateful. Next slide. What's most important for us right now is the mental and emotional toll that vitiligo has. Yes, there's some of us in this group, we're strong. We know that we're beautiful, and all the different words that you see there. But what this group is trying to do, and that's done from the very beginning, is to pull us together as a family, because together we're a force for good. All that we need is for others to see it and to support us. 2021, next slide, we worked together for a couple of weeks, and we came up with the tagline as we go through this pandemic. What we want for people with vitiligo to do is to know that there is a place where they can find themselves, a body of people that love them and care for them, and they can belong. We want to empower them, and we want to encourage them to live. 25-year-old, a Hispanic male from New York, ended his life. But it doesn't have to be that way. We want for folks to know that they can live. And finally, oh my goodness, I have with me the director and producer of our upcoming film. Next slide, my heart is bubbling. When I was approached about doing something for vitiligo, I called on my teammates. Millicent, beside me, is from Connecticut, my Connecticut leader, founding member. My vice president, Midland Center, from New York City. When I typed that first thing on Facebook, she showed up. And last but not least, my North Carolina leader. And I said to them, we have this opportunity to do a documentary telling our life story, our journey. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want her to stand. Thank you, Tonya. Thank you, Tonya. And Hull Bay Production. Thank you. That release date, we're hoping for June. Of course, funding is an issue. So if we can get that going, release date is scheduled for June at our next conference, which will be in Bloomington, Minnesota. And so we're hoping for COVID to just stay where it's at so we can move forward with this. But I wanted to give you a clip, and I get emotional. These ladies tell me all the time, walk with your Kleenex. But I'm gonna ask the gentleman, I have to show you a bit of this clip to show you what More Than Our Skin, coming to Netflix or somebody, what it's all about. We want you to get a sample of More Than Our Skin.
Did he have vitiligo, and is that why he lightened his skin?
The king of pop had vitiligo.
I'm a Black American. I'm proud to be a Black American.
And he allegedly bleached his skin.
I have a skin disorder. There is no such thing as skin bleaching.
Let's get to the fact versus the fiction here.
He has a serious skin condition, which I have witnessed.
When people make up stories that I don't want to be who I am, it hurts me.
My world ended that day.
Because what was your biggest fear?
I'm just too fabulous for that. All of this chocolate, milk chocolate, you're saying may go away?
That's all I did was watch TV, go to the refrigerator, watch TV, go to the refrigerator. That's it. That's all I did. I wasn't doing nothing. I was staying in the house.
You know, next to photos, it's like, and then be the spotted one. So it was hard, absolutely.
This was gonna be it, that there was not gonna be anything else out there to help me because I had already tried everything.
Why me? Especially in mornings when you had to do life again each day. I was like, why me?
Vitiligo is an autoimmune disease.
The immune system, which we know fights viruses, and vitiligo, it's the skin color cells.
Leading to white patches, often in exposed areas such as the face or hands. When patients come in, sometimes they just want to know what's going on.
Is this something that I can catch?
And once we know what causes vitiligo and what drives vitiligo, we can design treatments and be able to treat patients.
The creators of 100 Years, 100 Voices of Faith bring you More Than Our Skin, the compelling stories of 5 women living with vitiligo. It's the story of more than the skin you see. It's the pain, depression, suicide thoughts that come knowing that with their pigmentation, a bit of humanity also faded away.
I was upset. They used to stare and look and point.
How is the disease affecting them?
I didn't want to be around people.
Not leaving their homes because it so deeply affects them.
The view of all the people and them.
There's no way you can hear those stories and not get personally involved.
Oh, were you burned in a fire? And I looked at him and I said, does this look like a burn?
And through their anger and pain, they're able to stand strong with the support of their communities to tell the world what they want you to know about what it means to live with vitiligo.
The journey will be hard.
They should not, make fun of people.
It's not just spots on your skin. This is affecting this.
We got to speak for those that don't want to speak, for the voiceless.
My biggest hope is that it encourage, lift up, pick up someone that's down in the dumps. Our aim is to continue on this upward motion, making it happen.
More than our skin.
More Than Our Skin is coming to a theater one day near you, I hope. So continue to pray for us. Support us if you can. We have strong allies, starting with, like I said, Representative Gonsalvo. But before I leave you, let me tell you this. In March of 2021, for the first time in the history of this condition, we had the privilege and the honor to Zoom with the FDA on a treatment in the works and scheduled to come out in April. If you can do this with me, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I have come a long way. I've learned to accept what I have, and I'm living by the help of Jehovah God. But for the babies that are out there still suffering and for their parents, this cure, treatment, whatever you want to call it, our desire is to see that this happens for the next generation, for the future of this vitiligo community. And I thank you for your time.